I want to volunteer some information on the Shantae Nicole podcast because this is what I do as your relationship coach and your motivational speaker, right? So I want to give you the blueprint. Everybody's talking about manifesting, but in order to receive a blessing, you have to be a blessing, because when God wants to bless you, he sends people. When the devil wants to distract you, he sends people, right? So if you're familiar with my channel or any of my content, you know that I co-parent with my son's father, which I'm an empty nester now, for 14 years while he was in prison. And so when he got out of prison, I did the DNA test. I volunteered that. My son was 2 weeks old. He caught the case when my son was 6 months old. Got sentenced, went to prison when my son was 2. Okay, fast forward. So in the 2 years before he went to prison, sometimes you be petty, you not seeing eye to eye, egos, pride, power struggles, whatever that looks like, right? And so we're just not compatible, right? Nobody's perfect. So he was never, ever, ever supposed to be on child support, ever, right? So he didn't ask me. I volunteered. When he went to prison, I stopped it, right? 14 years, stop, boom. When he gets out of prison, before he even got out of prison, I'd already filed the paperwork to zero out the balance, because that is something you can do. And I'm volunteering information because people talk about manifesting, but in order to receive a blessing, you have to be a blessing, right? And I'm an empty nester, and I'm giving you the blueprint of how I did it. This is how I did it. So January last year, 2024, we go down there and they say, hey, are you agreeing to zero out this balance? And I said yes. So I signed the paperwork, and voila. Now, the blessing is that I have never, ever, ever interfered with the relationship my son has with his dad, which means that from the time I gave birth, I never micromanaged him with his kid. He could always 100% get his kid, spend quality time with his kid without me. After I had him, the 2 years he was waiting to go to prison, the 14 years he was at prison, majority of the time when my son would go see his dad 3 weekends out of the month before COVID, I wasn't even there, right? I could probably count on like a hand and a half how many times I've seen him in the 14 years that he was incarcerated. So, when he got out of prison, right, I still didn't micromanage him. It's like, oh, okay, it's your dad, whatever, right? And that's the information I want to volunteer, because it is hard being a single mother. It is hard, raising kids mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And I'm volunteering this information. I hope and pray that it's a blessing to you, is that a DNA test is a proof of purchase, right? You go to the store, they give you a receipt. And so even though he didn't ask me for a DNA test, even though he's like, oh, you don't have to do that. No, he's petty. He's petty. You don't wait for trouble to happen to do something about it. You prevent the trouble, right? I'll never forget the time. My kid is 18 now. I'm an empty nester, but my son at this time must have been 16. And we're at the prison. It's one of the few times I went to visit. And he looks at my son. He says, why is he lighter than the both of us, right? And I said, well, sir, the DNA test is 99.99. If you would like another one, I'd be more than happy to give you one. And the thing I'm volunteering is that you never know what's going on when you're not around. You don't know what insecurities are going on. You don't know what people are saying that don't know you, that might be trying to hate. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And it takes a village to raise a child. So yeah, you made this kid with this person, but if you want other people to get on board, family, friends, relatives, whatever that looks like, a DNA test is proof of purchase. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a village for my son, but I wasn't thinking short term. I was thinking long term. I wanted to lighten my load, right? So America's not what you know, America's what you can prove. This is proof of purchase. And, working in corporate America, being the only black person in the office, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When you're having side conversations and people are asking questions, it takes the pressure off of you to be like, oh yeah, he has his dad, or he's in his life, or he spends quality time, or he knows both sides, or et cetera, right? Because even if you don't want to be judged, or people aren't trying to judge you, they're judging you, right? And mental health is so important, and I wanted to volunteer the information, right? So, God bless you. Jesus Christ loves you. He only wants the best for you. My name is Shantae Nicole. Welcome to my podcast. If you want any additional services, DM me. Send me a message. Bye-bye.